Okay, everybody, welcome to Apropos, the Clojure show where we talk with people from the community, get them to share their editor setups and their screens, and talk to them about Clojure. On the panel today, today we have Mia.
Hi.
I'm Eric, and our special guest is Bozhidar. Hello.
Hey everybody.
Okay, so our first question is, how did you get into Clojure?
Well, it's a tough question because it was so long ago. Honestly, I don't quite remember, but I do remember that I really liked Common Lisp and Emacs Lisp because I had been using Emacs for over 20 years. So when I saw the news that Rich Hickey has announced Clojure, I immediately got interested. Back in the day, conveniently, I was also a Java developer, so I was like, oh, Java and Lisp, two things that are kind of close to my heart.
Uh huh.
And it was love at first sight. I was really impressed by Rich's approach to building software, the focus on simplicity, on backwards compatibility, super stable APIs.
Yeah.
I think each of his early talks was worth 10 books on programming or something like this. So
Yeah.
much wisdom was compressed into an hour or so. And, just his thinking really resonated with me, and this is how I got into Clojure in the first place.
Awesome.
I want to know the origin of cider.
The origin of Cider. Oh, so I really liked the older programming environment Slime for Common
Mm-hmm.
Lisp for Emacs. And when I started to play with Clojure originally, there wasn't a dedicated environment for Clojure on Emacs, but there was a version of Slime that was adapted to work with Clojure.
Right. I
It,
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, if you remember, it was a combination of the standard Slime plus a Swank adapter.
Mm-hmm. The Swank
Swank is the
adapter.
backend,
That's right.
yes. And it kind of worked, but it didn't work very well because Slime was created for Common Lisp. And obviously, Clojure is a Lisp, but it's not Common Lisp. Not to mention that for this to work, you had to never update the Emacs client, which meant that
Which I didn't
you
do,
weren't.
by the way. I just left it. I just never touched it. Back in the day, there were not that many releases.
Okay,
Now
all
it's a
right,
lot more
all
regular.
right.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's fine. But for me, it was a problem because I was using both Common Lisp and Clojure at the time, and I really wanted to update.
Yeah. Right.
But updating was very dangerous proposition. So after a while, Chas Emerick started to work on uh, a new repo foundation for development tools in Clojure and repo. And immediately, a couple of people put together a prototype for an Emacs client um, for nrepo, which was named also nrepo. Naming is hard. They didn't get very far with it, but I was one of the earliest contributors. And once they ran out of time for the project, they told me, "You are the maintainer. Basically, do with it whatever you want." And this was how Cider started. The first thing I did was to rename the project because for me it was super confusing that the client was nrepo and the server was nrepo, and because nrepo was meant to be a generic protocol beyond Clojure. The first implementation was in Clojure, but just was hoping that this would be useful outside of the Clojure community, something like the language server protocol in a way
Oh,
for
interesting. I didn't know that.
like we are actually working on specification for quite a while because occasionally people are coming from other language communities and they say we like the idea of nrepo, but you never bother to specify what exactly the protocol is. So people always reverse engineer this from the Clojure implementation, which is a little bit painful. But anyways, I'm drifting. I tend to drift.
Do it.
um,
Drift away.
and yeah, so
Wait, so can
I
I
didn't.
ask you what
Mhm.
what year are we talking about when, like, let's say when you first started using it and then when you became maintainer?
Oh, I started to use it when the project was 2 months old, and I became the maintainer when the project was like 6 months old.
So is that like
But
2010, something like that?
let me open GitHub and check
Okay.
Why
because
cider? Why did you name it cider?
uh, I I like to drink, which is not fashionable these days. But yeah, and I like cider, the drink, and I also like funny names. So I was basically looking for something that was 5 letters. So when I renamed the project, this wouldn't introduce additional diffs because nrepo was 5 letters and cider is 5 letters. I wanted it to start with C, so I can say that the first letter stands for closure, and I managed to come up with a really nice backronym for Cider Closure Interactive Development Environment that rocks. But
Mm-hmm.
I needed 2, 3 years to get to this point. So at first it was just Cider. And,
Okay. An
you know,
acronym with no actual words
This is a burning
assigned.
question. This question has lived in my heart for a long time. I'm glad to glad to have an answer.
yeah, no, that's how it happens. For me, always the hardest thing with projects is to come up with the name, and I want the name to be funny and somewhat meaningful, but it doesn't always happen. Later on the episode, we're going to speak about 2 recent projects that I started that are kind of adjacent to cider, and they also have drink-inspired names. So I am sticking to this general vicinity, I guess. But what was the year? This was the question, and I
Yeah.
promised an answer. Just give me a second, because honestly, after so many years, I myself have started to forget how certain things have transpired. So, okay, the project was started in May 2012, and I think I became the sole maintainer in January 2013. So over 13 years of Cider.
13 years. Wow. And were you like an Emacs developer at that point? Did you have experience writing Emacs
Yes, yes, yes.
libraries? And
I started to use Emacs 21 years ago, if I remember it correctly, and
hmm
I started my first Emacs libraries in 2008, 2007, so a long time ago. My oldest projects were a version of Emacs Prelude that was back then named the Emacs Developer Toolkit or something like this. Then I wrote a pretty prominent project management library for Emacs called Projectile, and afterwards I wrote dozens of smaller projects.
hmm
Uh, Cider was definitely the biggest, but it wasn't the first by any measure.
Okay, can I ask you a maybe it's a hard question, but I've heard that Rich Hickey, who we have not had on this show, to show us his setup. By the way, invitation open invitation. Um, but he uses inferior Lisp straight to a socket REPL, just like bare bones. What do you think about that?
Well, if it gets the job done, it gets the job done, right? I cannot argue with his choice of tools, but I did create especially for him the inferior Clojure project a long time ago because I also saw somewhere that he was using inferior Lisp. So I thought at least Rich should have something that works a little bit with Clojure and doesn't require any additional tweaks. I remember we even chatted about this with him in person at one of the Clojure conges,
Mm-hmm.
but I have no idea whether he actually switched to inferior Clojure or he's still using inferior Lisp. But
Right.
this was my small gift to him.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think there's something about it where, because he's the, maintainer of the language, like needs to, he wants the language to be better and not rely so much on libraries to like as crutches. Do you know what I mean? Like he wants it to be easy to use the language as it is, and not have tools that make it easier, but from externally. I don't know. Seems like an interesting way, like kind of like a dog fooding.
Yeah, but there are also some very real practical issues with this. The main problem with using something like inferior Lisp or inferior Clojure is that you can't tell apart the return values from
Sure.
standard output or standard error that was produced. So you really have to guess. This makes it kind of hard to do even some simple things.
This is
This is
not a
why.
problem if you never make an
I
error.
know. First of all, right, never an error. Second of all, pure functions, no print lines or anything. So let it.
Yeah, okay. When you put it like this, you know, for all the effort I spent into building a better debugger in Cider, I have to admit that most of the time I debug with print line.
Yeah, sure.
So for me, that's definitely important. But yeah, now that I come to think about it, probably Rich really doesn't make any mistakes. He takes his time in the hammock, and
And
just goes
types
to
it
the
in the
keyboard.
first time, right? The first time,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, all right. We need to have Rich on to see
We
how
do.
he
That's
does it.
yeah, yeah.
That's it.
We never invited him. We gotta invite him.
Okay, I'm writing it down because
All right.
it's kind of intimidating.
It is.
Did you see Bozhidar? Did you see the documentary?
Not yet, not yet. I just saw the trailer. I was like, this must be the first programming language that is getting a documentary. So we are pioneers somewhere, but I've yet to see it.
We're not the first. This group has made other like they
Oh,
did Python, they did Node, uh, probably some others can't think of them off the top. TypeScript, I think they did. So okay, well you should see it. It's good. And if you like Rich Hickey, it's kind of an homage to him more than it is to Clojure. Um, all right. I think we're ready to see your screen.
Let's see your setup. Please share your screen.
okay.
Yeah,
Okie dokie.
let's do it.
So here we go. Mhm.
We get to see not the creator, but the longtime maintainer. Well, I guess you did create Cider
Man,
from what used to be nrepl.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine doing any of this without cider. Like
I know. Jeez, I'm lost without
Uh,
it.
I can't imagine it.
uh,
But like talk about. I'm excited just to see all the cool tricks that that like are built in. Like everyone has them at their fingertips. If they only had memorized that keystroke, I want to see all that stuff. And
Uh,
also, like you must have great configuration. So
I will
curious to see
start
that.
with the configuration, but I might disappoint you a little bit because I am very, mm, how will you say, conventional in the way that I use Cider. Like, I don't use many of the commands, and I occasionally even forget about them.
Okay.
Because I have a simple workflow that I kind of share between the various Lisp environments. I mostly
Okay.
evaluate expressions, namespaces, switch between the code and the repo, but I rarely do something wild. That's how I program in Emacs Lisp, and that's also what I tend to do in Clojure. So this is my current Emacs setup. It used to be more complicated back in the day, but 10 years ago, I simplified it to a single init.l file
Wow.
that is just 1,000 lines,
Okay.
which for a Emacs user is pretty conservative, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Random thingies. I want to see what might be more interesting that fewer people might be using. I'm a big user of the AV package that allows you to jump to random places. I think uh, every editor has something like this these days. But this is the Emacs version.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I really love cover teams, and I've created or rather ported a few to Emacs. Like for many years, I was using Zenburn. Afterwards, I was using Capuchin because I like the name, I guess, and the colors. And right now, what you're seeing is the Tokyo Night Storm team. That for some reason I like very much. I really like the consult package, and with it, you can easily swap. This was how
Oh.
my Emacs used for a very long time.
What are you
And
using now? That's Tokyo Night
so,
is your main one?
yes, I don't know.
Okay.
I like it. I also like Tokyo, so might be related.
Okay.
Somebody told me that this theme looks like the neon signs at in Tokyo at night, and
Hmm.
I bought the meat, so now I'm sold. So when it comes to um, my Clojure setup, the important pieces are projectile, which is my project management plugin that I mentioned. These days, there is a built-in project plugin in Emacs, but I'm I'm partial to my own project. It allows me to easily jump between the various projects on which
Mm.
I work, like Clojure TS Mode, for instance, and to quickly peruse the files in the project. You can easily grab with various tools. Let's see, what do I have as project L integration code here. And yeah, I kind of like it. You can go to some Clojure project, like repo itself, and projectile has commands about running the various operations on a project. Like you can start shells, you can build. You can jump between open buffers, operate on buffers, um, the things that people are used from IDEs, but they are kind of uncommon out of the box in lighter editors like Vim and Emacs. That's kind of related to my how do you say this? Not legacy, but the time I spent as a Java developer, because back then I was using Eclipse and IntelliJ IDEA. And when I was switching between IntelliJ IDEA and Emacs, I missed the rich project interaction capabilities of the IDEs. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to port those to uh, to Emacs.
I've definitely
So
heard people say that they miss having a sidebar with a project tree, like a file tree. They don't like jumping around with just the keyboard. They want to see it.
I'm not one of those people, by the
Mm.
way. I've never used the
The tree.
sidebar in.
Okay.
Yeah, I for me it's enough to be able to jump between the projects and to easily navigate the files within them.
Yeah.
But somehow I never needed the project buffer that you mentioned.
Yeah.
There are many
Mm-hmm.
plugins for Emacs for this, but yeah, not my thingy. This next plugin, um, expand region, is very useful in Lisp-like languages like Clojure, and I constantly use it basically as this standard expanding or I forgot
And this
the
like
word in English,
folds your
shrinking.
code. So like you see if you have like a defen, it'll like make it one line in the buffer. Is that what happens?
Oh, no, no. It just allows me to select it so I can do something with it, like
Oh.
replace it or copy it around.
Could you show
There
us
are,
what it looks like when you use it?
yeah, so can you see how I'm
Oh,
selecting
I
more and
see the
more?
highlight. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can also do it in the opposite direction, and you can replace the selection
Right.
or whatever. Um, I think it's very useful in Lisps to be able to select quickly something within parentheses most of the time. Of course, I'm also using paredit, which is an even more important piece of my editor setup, but I guess also pretty much everybody is using it in the realm of Clojure.
Mm-hmm.
Like good stuff, wrap expression, and I can never disbalance my parentheses, which happened all the time before I discovered it. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
what are other interesting packages that are related to my Clojure setup? Oh, yes. I'm using rainbow delimiters,
Uh-huh.
this thingy. Mm, and I need some more nested bit of code for you to see this better. Like you see how every pair of matching parentheses has a different color, so you can visually tell them apart better. Maybe go to some middleware. Uh, I don't know. I picked the simplest one. Just a moment. Why isn't this working? Okay, the risks of the live broadcast. Hmm, this doesn't seem right. Mhm. Hmm, how did I name this? Okay. But here you can see on this line there are so many parentheses. I'm not sure. Can you see well, or should I zoom a little bit?
Yeah, it's good. I think it. I mean, the zoom helps for sure. Um,
Zoom even more for our viewers
yeah, if
with more
someone's watching it on
screens.
their phone, they might have a trouble.
So I think it's a pretty neat package when you're working with Lisps.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I use it too. It's
should
I use it all the time. I'm like, oh, where's the closing pink one? You know that kind of thing.
Okay, what else was interesting? Flight check, another package that I maintain these days. That's
Oh, you
basically
too.
yeah,
Okay.
like I have a feeling that every abandoned Emacs package lands at my doorstep eventually. That's basically the typical way to run linters asynchronously in Emacs, and it's useful to be running something like Condo
Mm-hmm.
with Clojure. So good stuff. That's another package written by me, super safe. That I think it's useful in every programming language, but it's definitely useful in Clojure as well. Basically, every time you are changing focus between buffers, it will automatically save the buffer from which you are switching. That's another thingy that I liked in fancy editors like IntelliJ IDEA,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to bring to Emacs, and I like it. This package Crux is a collection of random commands that I found useful through the years, like switching between sub operations, joining lines and killing them in specific ways,
Uh-huh.
indenting difference without having to select them. Um, I do have one Emacs blog called emacsredux.com, where I have written a lot of articles about my development setup, the various packages that I've written and whatnot. So I'm not going to go
Wait, what is
into
it called again? How can we search for that?
just a second. Hmm. And here I have been debugging something. So just a moment. That's how
Okay.
it's called, emacsredux.com. This is a place where I have been blogging for at least 15 years, and maybe it works okay in Emacs. Let's check.
I'm also curious, how do you find packages? I find that uh, it's very hard for me to discover packages for Emacs. Um, and because I'm not like constantly looking for stuff and trying to tweak my setup, I mean, this is what happened to me a lot. Is like I would be using some old thing from 2000, and like the whole world had moved beyond that. So like I was using like I do mode, right? And that's like slow and uh, not. I wanted fuzzy matching, and it didn't do fuzzy matching, and so like having to find what do people use instead of that now. Um, it's really hard. I don't even know what to
Yeah,
call it.
so I guess I'm a crazier user of Emacs than average, and
Mm-hmm.
I follow pretty much every person that blogs about Emacs. Sasha's Emacs Weekly is an indispensable resource because she specifically calls out every new package that was released every week. How
Okay.
has she been tracking this for so many years? I can only guess. But I have discovered a lot of gems just reading her newsletter. I also follow Emacs on Reddit. I'm subscribed to Planet Emacs, or however the aggregator for all the blogs was called. I'm on Emacs Devel, and
Oh wow. Okay.
sometimes I just
You're hooked in.
randomly,
You're
yeah,
jacked into
yeah.
the community.
Poor Eric is gonna have to go in and put all these in the in the description later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes I just like to go through the list of packages and check for something that I like. Sometimes look for something that I like. Sometimes I go to Melpa and I just sort the packages by number of downloads to see what is the most popular and what is the
Yeah,
least
that's
popular.
a good idea.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I have some issues with Emacs, and I definitely don't recommend to anybody to spend with it as much time as me because I don't think it pays off.
Right, we
You
appreciate
have to
that
have
you are
hobbies.
doing this so that we don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was also using I do back in the day. These days I am using Vertigo. I
Okay.
hear that this is the way to go. It's written by one of the most prolific Emacs developers these days, and it's a really great package. He has written some additional extensions for it, like this orderless package. And I think he's the author of Consult, which is a pretty popular and super handy package that does all sorts of magic. Like it provides enhanced version of million Emacs commands.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so really good stuff. Mhm.
Okay.
Here's an example how iMenu becomes a lot more visual, and you
Mm-hmm.
can quickly find something that you're looking for. So yeah, okay. Let's see. Uh, Clojure. Oh, I don't use LSP much, but I do use Egglot for time to time to check what the competition is doing, Clojure LSP. And in general, I think that it's nice that Emacs has nice LSP integration these days, both with Egglot and with the third-party LSP mode. For Clojure, like I'm partial to Cider and to some other things that I'm going to mention in a bit. But for all of the other programming languages that do not have a repo like Clojure's, Egglot and LSP are very useful. In the last couple of years, I was very interested in OCaml, and I've mostly been using Egglot with OCaml.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am a Ruby developer by trade, and you
I'm sorry.
mentioned, yeah, I'm sorry about this myself. One of the reasons why I started Cider was that back in the day I was hoping to become a professional Clojure developer, and I wanted to have nice tooling for myself when I finally land the dream Clojure job. But it never happened. So I still do Ruby on the day job, and there are bits of Ruby-related configuration in my Emacs configuration.
Yeah.
But I guess here things become more interesting for Clojure hackers out there because we got to the part of the bulk of my Clojure setup. So I do use Clojure mode still. I'm not using Clojure TS mode, even though I'm one of the main developers of Clojure TS mode. The the reason for this is very simple. I never really had issues with Clojure mode, so I get that some people were working on bigger code bases than me, and they were running into some performance issues
Huh.
on huge files. But I never had this problem, and Clojure mode uh, allows us to do some weirder things here and there because it's less structured than the framework for TypeScript. For TypeScript, you can tell it's late in Bulgaria. Three-seater for three-seater modes. Also, 3-seater in Emacs is still pretty buggy, and constantly I ran into some issues here and there. So I've decided that for the time being, I'll stick with Clojure mode. Occasionally, I toggle between Clojure and Clojure TS mode to test things locally while I'm working on Clojure TS mode. But yeah, I don't have many issues with the old guard. And actually, this year I did spend a lot of time on housekeeping and cleanup in Clojure mode. I addressed almost all of the open issues. I think I improved the test suite significantly. I think it's definitely in the best shape it has ever been. My motivation for this was kind of the work on Clojure TS mode, because as I was doing some things there differently, I was like, why didn't I do it this way in Clojure mode as well? Well, I didn't know that much about Emacs Lisp back in the day, but the situation has improved. So there was an interesting cross-pollination, or whatever the English terminology is. So I have inferior Clojure in my setup, mostly to test it from time to time. I rarely use it, but I do think it's in a decent shape as well these days. And every year, I dedicate a couple of weeks for bug fixing sprints and small improvements here and there. You can see that my Cider setup is tiny. Like Cider has hundreds of configuration options, and I have enabled exactly two, um, which which is what I meant, that I don't do something particularly fancy. Like I think for every tool, the default setup should be what most of the users need, right? It should be some optimal setup, and if I start deviating a lot from it, this would mean that probably I don't like the defaults very much, which would
Right.
be kind of weird.
Well, that's very
So
similar to what we were talking about before with Rich's setup, right? Like he just wants to know that the socket REPL works and is enough to get real work done. And
Yeah, the
yeah,
default
yeah.
mode should be the good one. Uh, it should work for the majority of cases. I think it's but there are a lot of Cider configurations. So um who are the who are they? What causes you to add another Cider configuration? Who
I
are they
guess I
for?
must be a kind soul, and when somebody needs something, I just add it. Oh, when I was starting the project, I had to decide on one of two philosophies. Either it was, it is what it is, minimal configuration, take it or leave it, or you go with the Emacs philosophy of infinite opportunities for customization and tweaks. And because I like Emacs, I kind of like the philosophy that you should be able to take every package and make it your own in a way by tweaking it extensively. In hindsight, I kind of regret some of those configuration options, because many of them added a lot of complexity. So, there is always this balance between um, power for the users and more maintenance work for the people working on the package, because people typically just request stuff but don't help out much with their maintenance. But yeah, It
So
is for the people, every configuration options.
for the people, yeah, you're a man of the people. So you're a servant. What? Let's talk about the development of Cider. Like, is it just you developing it? Do you have a small team of like core people, or how does it work typically?
So that there has always been a cider team. The problem is that most of the people in the team don't stick around much. Like typically, people are active for a couple of years, then their interests change or life takes them in some different direction,
Mm-hmm.
and they disappear. These days, there is just one person besides me who is actively working um, on Cider. This is Alexander Yakushev from Clojure Goes Fast
Right.
and Compliment fame. Fantastic, fantastic person, fantastic engineer. I met him in person in Kiev when life was better and the war hadn't started. And I've met him at various Clojure conferences, and he has been really instrumental to the success of Cider. He's the person behind the Cider inspector, and he has been the primary maintainer of the debugger in recent years. So he has been an important contributor for sure. But
Okay.
other than Sashko, everybody else who used to work on Cider has been in retirement for quite a while.
Uh huh. Okay. So it's just you, uh,
And him.
and him, and like a little bit of drive-by patches, anything, stuff like that. Okay. Um, do you have any? Well, how much time do you think you dedicate to it? Like, let's say every week or every month.
It depends. I wrote a while ago that there are two things that drive the work on my open source projects in general. In the past, when were many Clojure events, I would always try to do um, some burst of development before presenting something at a conference. So I would have some cool new features to show or something just to discuss with the people at the event. So I was calling this the conference driven approach. And in more recent years, because I have so many projects besides Cider, I operate in bursts. Like 1 month, I would be focused on Cider. Then I'd be focused on an repo. Then I'd be focused on some non-closure project like my Ruby linter Rubocop or
Mm-hmm.
on something else. Because I also have projects in OCaml. Um,
Wow,
in yeah, uh,
you're
I
everywhere.
I have too many hobbies when it comes to programming. So I don't try to allocate a specific amount of time. This year in particular, because Clojure is together sponsoring my Clojure work, I do try to allocate constantly time for my Clojure project because I want the members of Clojure is together to get their money's worth. And I think that every week I have spent at least 10 hours working on Cider and
Wow,
Friends. So my
that's a lot.
commitment, uh, I appreciate the support. This is, I guess, as close as I will ever get to making money out of Clojure. And in general, for open source creators, the last 4 or 5 years have been painful because um, as some form of crisis has shook the programming industry, fewer companies and individuals are sponsoring open source projects. Like a few years ago, I was very optimistic that there might be a career path where you're just working on open source.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but now I think it's a pipe dream. So when there is some backing, I want to make the best of it, and I want people to see that supporting open source work yields results.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, thank you from me, definitely. I'm sure from the whole community because Cider is like great. It just works. Uh, Even upgrades are painless, and I use it every day. I don't know if I could do my work. Well, I could, but it would be a lot slower. Let's say I'd be typing a lot, like copy pasting a lot into a terminal REPL and stuff like that.
It's really hard to imagine Clojure Emacs without Cider, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's, I
Yeah.
mean, I never, I didn't have to ever live like that. So hard to imagine it.
Uh,
Like a caveman.
in general, I think this is an issue that every Clojure developer has. Once you discover Clojure, it's hard to imagine life without the magical Clojure repo
Yeah.
and all of its power. Like f- it's very hard. My experiments with other programming languages are always painful until I get used that, oh, it's not okay to work in those tiny chunks and just
Uh huh.
reevaluate stuff.
Well, so you
That's a
you
bigger topic.
you work in Ruby and you wrote the inferior Ruby, is that right? So that you
Oh
could
no,
connect? No?
I didn't write it. I just
Okay.
use it,
Do you
but it
find
works very
that
similar.
so you can set up a REPL and like reload files and stuff like that?
You can't do it in the same granularity as you can do it with Clojure. This is
Oh,
the problem. Like in Clojure, you can reload essentially everything with
right.
this little granularity that you
A
want.
single expression, def and
Yes,
or a
yes.
file or yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in Ruby, it just doesn't work this way. Like within Ruby, you can do some simpler stuff, but when you're working on bigger projects, usually you're using tools that are monitoring for file changes and reloading the whole files
I see.
as you are saving. That's common in many similar scripting languages. It gets the job done, but it has a lot of limitations and it's definitely not as convenient
Right.
as
Like maintaining some state. Like I just want to set it up a little bit, def some stuff, uh run the test, but like in my test I'm going to like write to an atom so that I can inspect that value. Like all these little things that are easy to do in Clojure. You have to like often, this is what I find. You have to go to some like third party library. Like how do I uh instrument my tests better? And it's not a one line change. It's like a new dependency and learning how to set it up, and it's like got its own quirks and you got to learn those. um, so yeah, so I wondered if you had any kind of insights into that since you work in Ruby and Clojure.
use Clojure when you can and develop a thicker skin when you're working with Ruby. I have to tell you that I don't enjoy working in Ruby as much after I discovered Clojure. Like when I was moving from
Ruined you.
Java to Ruby, Ruby felt like a breath of fresh air because it felt more dynamic, and so you didn't have to reload slowly as many things as in Java. I remember when I was working on some web apps in the early days of Java, you make a tiny change and you wait for the application server to reload for 3 minutes.
Right.
It wasn't fun.
Right.
And with Ruby, you save some change, it reloads in a second. Okay, that felt amazing, at least when you were doing web applications. But when I discovered first Common Lisp and eventually Clojure, this was like, whoa, you could uh, interact with your actual application at this
Mm.
really low level. You can inspect the entire environment,
Yeah.
uh, rollback changes easily, run one tests without having to load all of the machinery in advance. Like good stuff.
Right. Oh man. I don't know if I could go back to another language. Oh, I did it. I the last time I worked in another. Well, that's not. I used JavaScript for a while, and that was a little okay. There was a lot of like reloading and then clicking around to get back to where I was, so I could see if the change was correct or if it needed another change. Which you don't have to do in Clojure. You just change it and it shows up because we put the work in. The community has put the work in to make that work right. Um, yeah, so I don't know. Uh, what else were we gonna talk about, Mia? I'm kind of lost now.
I don't know. I've been discombobulated. Someone
You have a distraction, I see.
too.
Uh,
I think we usually like to talk about what you've got that you're working on right now that you're really excited about.
Oh yeah,
With
that's a good
people.
one.
mhm. And that's exactly where I'm going right now. I realized that I made some changes in the morning, and I wanted to make sure that I actually installed locally. So those would work, but there are several directions of my work currently. One of them is simplifying the internals of Cider. There was a little bit of coupling between the Cider code base and the low-level internal and repo client that I disliked because eventually I wanted to ship the nrepo client as a separate package in case somebody wants to build something similar to Cider. Let me explain
Oh,
this
I see. Like a
real
different
quick.
front end to it, but using
Yes,
the
yes,
same
exactly.
connection.
Exactly. So if we check uh, how the project structure looks, I see we have this list folder, lots of files there. Like Cider is getting pretty big, and this here is the nrepo server communication code. Those three namespaces. And the most interesting thing is here. This is what was the original nrepo project for Emacs, and it eventually became the low-level part of Cider because this is the where we have the connection management, sending a request to the server, processing the responses and whatnot. So this was kind of coupled for a very long time with some Cider-specific functionality, like some evaluation callbacks and whatnot. The later it gets in the day, the harder it is for me to speak foreign languages. So sorry about this. And I have spent a lot of time this month untangling this from the rest of Cider. Also, in the cleanup area, I almost rewrote the jacking functionality for it to be simpler, to be isolated from the rest of Cider. And I want to show you how the simplified. Ah, where did I put this? Sorry, my mind is starting to blank, and I don't remember how I
Sure.
named something, so I'm not sure what to grab for. I remember I had some map here because I was converting a bunch of separate configurations to combined aliases. Oh, where did I place now? Okay. Yes. Call this jacking tools, and there was some registry for this registrations. Yeah, so I made it easier for anybody to just register new jacking tools
Mm-hmm.
with this Cider register jacking tool API. So no longer people would be restrained by what is hard coded in Cider, and if you create an alternative to Leiningen or the Clojure CLI, you can immediately plug it here. Or if you just want to use Leiningen or the CLI in a different way, and it's also easier to hook other build tools. So I think this is pretty cool. Unless somebody has seen how the older code base looked like, I guess the gains might not be obvious, but
Mm-hmm.
now it's user driven, and before it was more or less whatever is bundled with Cider. This is what is supported, but now it's more flexible. So this is something that I built very recently, and embarrassingly enough, I really forgot how I named it exactly. I remember I named something registry, but what kind of registry? Go figure. So
But that's cool. So
uh,
someone who's using like a different project tool could write these things for themselves.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
exactly. Um,
So
Basically,
go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, no. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt
So
you.
I wanted to kind of go to a tangent. I think you mentioned before that you wanted to document the nREPL protocol so that other tools could implement it in other languages, right? And I'm curious, um, what languages would want to do that? Just because of what we said before, where the REPL isn't quite as you know, it doesn't exist for a long time and let you reload things and maintain state and introspect so much. Like I'm wondering what the advantages of are for some language. I don't know. I'm thinking something like JavaScript. Like, would a Node developer want to use that? Would it help
Uh,
them?
prob Probably no developer wouldn't want to use something like this because they already have pretty amazing tooling.
Mm-hmm.
The users that I have in mind are more niche languages like just a couple of days ago, I got a ticket on Cider that somebody started to work on a programming language called Garden that I guess
Okay.
was inspired by Clojure or something like this,
Yeah.
and they were implementing an repo server for this Garden programming language, and were wondering how to make this work with Cider. And this, for instance, is an interesting programming language. It's something like Cider like Clojure implemented in Python. It
Oh, okay.
has an nrepo server and it works pretty well with Cider. Um,
I see. S-
Babashka and NDB also work pretty well with Cider, even though technically speaking they're not Clojure.
Right, right.
Fennel works well with Cider. Lua works well with
I get
Cider.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think the value proposition is like you're in some more niche community where there aren't corporations willing to spend millions and millions of dollars on development tooling. So you take this really simple protocol, you implement it in 2 days, and you have pretty reasonable development experience without all of the complexity of building a full-fledged language server protocol, language server protocol server. Wow. And it also sounds much better than LSP. Like nrepo sounds cool. Language server protocol sounds like something that was named by Microsoft.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's cool. So this is like solving the problem of these niche languages don't have the resources to develop a whole IDE. So if they could just implement some useful subset of nREPL, they get one for free. That's awesome.
Yes, they actually get two for free,
Oh,
which leads me to the next thing I wanted to mention. When this person mentioned their Garden programming language and wanting to use it with Cider, I was like, that's doable, but it's also a little bit counterproductive because much of Cider's advanced functionality is very Clojure specific.
mm,
Like there is no way in hell you can port the Clojure debugger to a different programming
sure.
language
Yeah.
or the inspector because it's super Clojure specific there, and you have to spend quite a bit of time re-implementing this. So I thought myself, I was listening to the song um, Too Sweet by Hosier. I'm not sure if he's popular where you're from. But basically, he sings there that he takes his whiskey neat, his coffee black, and etc. etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, neat. This is something that sounds like a good name for a project. And
Yeah, a liquor themed project. Yeah.
yes, and oh,
Do you take your cider neat?
I take my cider neat, but I should
Oh, good.
probably
It's
do a
good
new.
to know. Good to
We
know
we're
other
going
people.
to edit this.
Mine says
Uh,
but. Uh, that's always interesting. So, because then you want to make sure that you didn't commit any test strings, so you always go back and check for something that you're not going to find.
yeah, yeah. Okay. I might not use the most sophisticated language when I'm testing things. But let me show this real quick. I have some server running in the background here, and we are now going to connect with it with Neat. And on the surface, it looks like Cider, like it works with Clojure code. As you can see, you get completion.
Cool.
Uh, uh, and I think you even have LDoc working. Yes, LDoc is working. Let me zoom a little bit. It's in very early stages because I just started working on this project. It also has, sorry, my brain is, where did I put the look?
So this is like
Problem.
an nREPL client, or is it
Yes,
just it's or but in Emacs? Is
it
that right?
is exactly this.
Uh huh.
It is exactly this. Something is not working well right now, which again okay, now it's enabled. Okay, yes. I named this messages not log, and you can check here the communication between
Oh,
uh,
cool.
the server and the client. And you might be wondering why I started this, because obviously Cider is much better. This supports just the nREPL protocol and no of the Clojure specific extensions. It makes absolutely no assumptions about the server and its capabilities, and it will work with any reasonably well implemented nREPL server. It's part of my broader initiative to publish an nREPL protocol specification and some reference clients. I thought that the first reference client should be in Emacs, but I'll probably write one in some more popular language, like something in Ruby or Python, so people can easily test their server implementations against
Oh,
it
cool.
from the terminal. Um, so this is one interesting small new project that I just started. And before this, um, I did one other drink-inspired project called Port.
Port.
Uh,
Okay.
is this is this popular on your side of the ocean?
The
Uh,
wine, the fortified wine.
yes,
Yeah, we know of it.
yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was on vacation last month in Portugal, and the first stop was Porto, where the bulk of the port production is concentrated. And when I was there, I thought that this might be a great name for the long overdue P-repo client that I had promised
Oh,
to Clojure hackers. Like, I think around 10 years ago, I said that I was going to add P-repo support to Cider, but I never did it. I did experiment with this before my vacation, and I realized this was way more involved than I originally thought. I got it working, but there were so many differences between P-repo and ten-repo that I decided it's not it's not practical. But I also realized that if I did something that targets P-repo explicitly, this is going to be a really small project. I put it together in something like a week, and it works reasonably okay. Again, I forget how I named things. Here I have uh, P-repo, power repo, looks like a cider repo. There is also port mode that works like cider mode. with the core functionality. Let's check that I'm not bullshitting you. There is code completion. There is LDoc, all of the good stuff. Apple is also cool. And Magic. So I'm not sure how many people are going to end up using it, but now they have the power, and I guess Rich has some alternative to connecting to a raw socket repo, because prepo might be kind of bare bone compared to an repo, but I think it's still infinitely better than a socket repo, because at least the responses are structured, and it's much easier to work with them.
Yeah.
So I think
Okay.
this might be a cool project for the minimalists in the Clojure community, and maybe if somebody is using Clojure LSP, they will prefer a lighter repo like Port compared to Cider. Although in reality, Port is significantly heavier than Cider. So I made the names confusing on purpose.
Okay. Wait, so you said port is heavier than cider? Why is that?
The
Because
booze,
so much of the work is done on the N rebel side? Is that why?
port the booze.
Oh, port the beverage. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
Port, the package is much lighter than
Okay.
Cider.
All right. I was confused. Yeah. Yeah. So this doesn't do like autocomplete, anything like
Oh,
that.
it does.
It
It does.
does? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Does it
Yeah,
do it
but
from the Emacs side, from the client side? It's asking,
yes,
it's doing, like sending
it's
some REPL commands to inspect. Yeah.
exactly. It's not as elegant as with an repo, because there it's just a server operation. Like you
Hmm.
say n repo completions, and you get the list of completions. At here, it's crafting closure expression to evaluate in the repo, and it's also probing for various completion libraries if they're on the class path. Like if you load
Oh,
complement, you're going to get better completions than if you don't have it. It's
oh,
also probing for the presence of orchard to be able to uh, do things like definition lookup and whatnot. But I think, given its simplicity, it covers the most common use cases reasonably well. And again, this is a project that is brand new uh, and will be improved with time, especially if it gets any users,
mm-hmm.
because I'm not sure if anybody is going to be interested in it. Some projects I start just to scratch a niche. Like um, really, the idea for this project came to my mind just because I was going through some old tickets while in Porto, and I was like, Port P repo, Port of repo, I like it.
Uh-huh.
I like it. And when I get, for me, really, it's always the hardest to find a name that I like for a project. And the moment I have a name, I can code nonstop for a few
Right.
days
Right.
and get
So it
with.
sounds like you've got a what's it called? An injection attack vector. So someone could send you a bottle of some drink from your hometown or something, put a sticky note on it saying, "Hey, have you ever thought about making a client to do this?" So it seems like a good name for it, and you know, once he drinks that bottle, it'll be done.
Not the worst idea. So I think the only way to know for sure if this works is to try
To
it.
try it, yeah.
You can post my home address. Uh,
Cool, cool. Well, we're over time. This was great to see all the projects you're working on. Um, it's amazing the productivity you've got. And thank you for your time being on with us. This was great.
Yep. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure.
We gotta let you go
My
to
pleasure.
sleep,
It was
though.
really nice to catch up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Subscribe. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.